Well, hey YouTube, it's the Micro Garden, and I'm really super excited to come to you guys today with a how-to video. Now, I told you guys that I would not be doing a whole lot of how-to videos, but today I'm actually having something really exciting planned. I'm going to teach you guys how to start cashew seeds at home and grow them all the way till they fruit. So it takes about 2 to 3 years for them to fruit, and the only problem is that the nut itself is really dangerous, actually. Now, a lot of people don't understand this, and there's very little out there about the cashew nut itself. There's a couple things that make it really dangerous. The cashew nut, as you'll see in a little bit, is huge. It's massive. It's a big nut. But when you crack it open, inside of it is not only the nut that you eat once it's roasted, but there's actually a really toxic, dangerous oil that comes out, and I'm even afraid to touch them right now, but as long as you wash your hands and stuff, you'll be fine. But it's really acidic, and I'm scared to touch this stuff. But I want to show you guys how to grow it, because I think it's one of the most unique and crazy cool things I've ever grown and will ever grow. And not only that, but it's probably the most tasty nuts ever. So I'm going to teach you guys how to grow them from seed to nut and everything in between. As long as you guys follow me on the updates and stuff, I'm going to show you guys, because it's not only a learning experience for me, but it's a learning experience for everyone, and it's going to be really exciting. So come along with me. I'm going to show you the first step in planting your cashew nuts. Okay, so the cashew nut itself is actually quite large, and I just thought I'd give you guys a quick look at what the cashew nut looks like itself here. It's got kind of a kidney bean shape to it, and you know, there's different sizes, obviously, but the majority of them are about an inch long, and they're a very large sized nut. I have prepared just a bucket of water here, and it doesn't matter the temperature really, but this is the first step that needs to be done. You're going to not get the cardboard in there. Now see, as you can see, the nuts, there's nuts on the bottom and there's nuts on the surface, and that keeps happening. The nuts that float are non-viable seeds. They won't sprout. Something happened to them and they won't sprout. They won't sprout at all. And that's imperative that you get them to that stage, because then it saves you a whole lot of time and frustration. Now, the thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to let these sit here for about 5 to 10 minutes in this water. That way you can make sure that they're completely viable, because otherwise it's just going to be a waste of your time, and then you might as well go no further anyways. Is make sure that the seeds are raw. If you get seeds from your local stores, they're always going to be cooked because of health codes and standards, and so generally they're either roasted or they're in their whole or have formed for eating, and it's pretty hard to find the raw form. So look online and you can generally find some raw seeds. I got these from a seller in India actually, and they shipped. They took a while, but I mean, hey, I got them, and they were a pretty decent price for the price that I got them at. Also, when you do get these, when the 5 to 10 minutes is elapsed and you found all the non-viable seeds, you don't want to stick your hands in this water, because the water will draw some of the oils out, and the oil rests on the surface, some of that oil that'll burn you. So it's really you have to be very careful not to just reach your hands right in. You're going to want to drain the water off and then pull the seeds out, because any oil that's remaining on the seeds will float to the surface, and you definitely don't want that on your skin. Alright, so it's been about 6 minutes, and I think this is probably long enough. But as you can see, there is still one floating, which means I'm glad I did this, because that one would not have sprouted anyway. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to take this little thing. You can probably take a spoon or something, but make sure you don't stick your hands in the liquid. I'm just going to scoop that one out. That was the bad seed that was floating, and chances are nothing will ever happen to it. So I'm just going to go drain this water so that I can retrieve the seeds from it, and then I'm actually going to get to planting them, and then we can move on to the next step once they get to sprouting. So now that you have your cashew nuts strained, you have let them soak for 5 minutes, pick out the bad ones, and you've strained the water, you're going to want to plant them right away, the ones that have not floated to the surface. These cups are filled with just your basic potting soil with perlite, and it's a soilless mixture to prevent any early rot of the seedlings or anything like that. And so what you're going to do is you're going to want to look at the nut, and there's going to be kind of a little brown seam here with a little kind of a black bump here. This is the spot that the root is going to come out of. So you're going to want to orient that down in the soil. You can also, sometimes you can lay it flat like this on the soil, and you can push it down. And in fact, I'll do a couple like that, because not all cashews are oriented the same way inside the nut. Sometimes things happen, and you'll actually, from what I was reading, you'll actually get a sprout that will come out of the other way inside the nut. And so they said that sometimes it's best to place it sideways. So I'm just kind of planting some sideways and some not, and we'll see which ones work best, because this is a learning experience for me as well. And then you just kind of shake the soil loose to fill in the hole there. And then I'm just going to backfill with a little bit more soil. I planted them about, I'd say, an inch deep. You're going to want to have them on a heat mat because they do require a little bit warmer soils to germinate. But on the plus side, the germination rate is actually really quick. You're looking at probably about 4 to 5 days for them to germinate, and at maximum of 2 weeks. So they're a fairly fast germinating plant. And once they germinate, I'm going to do an update, and we'll get to transplanting them and then fertilizing, and then once we get to pruning, I'll teach you how to prune them so you can grow them indoors. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode on how to plant your own cashew seeds indoors, and I hope you guys will stay tuned for the updates. I think it's going to be really cool. And just to remind you guys, please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe, because it really does help me out, and it helps spread my channel around, because I think this is a really cool thing, and I want it to be shared with a bunch of other people. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode, like I said, and I'll catch you guys later. So see ya. Bye.